What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Off the Record with k.jachimowicz. It's episode 22. It's February 13th. It's the afternoon. And I wanted to dive into an interesting podcast today. I wanted to do a little bit of a dive into Kendrick's Super Bowl halftime performance. And I'm not trying to fatigue everybody with that. I just wanted to talk about it. But there's one or a couple aspects of it that maybe I'm late to, maybe I'm early to, I don't know, but I think are pretty fascinating that I wasn't totally cued into all the way. And so let's get into it. So today we're going to go into an exploration of Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl LIX halftime show, performance rich in symbolism, cultural commentary, and controversy. So February 9th, Kendrick Lamar takes center stage at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans for the Super Bowl LIX halftime show. Known for his profound storytelling and intricate symbolism, Lamar's performance was highly anticipated. He did not disappoint, delivered a show that was both visually stunning and laden with deeper meanings. So, decoding the symbolism. So, right off the bat, I believe there was the whole 40 acres and a mule reference, which goes way back to a Civil War era proposal that promised land and resources to freed African Americans, a promise that was ultimately broken. So there was that to start, which was bold. There was the whole formation of the American flag thing, which I thought that was cool, but I wonder if there's more deeper meaning to that I'm not cued into all the way yet. I mean, I understand it was obviously about unity, division, etc. But I thought the performance overall was phenomenal. That's exactly what I was expecting from Kendrick. It was actually better than I was expecting from Kendrick in terms of he just always pushes it a little further with the depth, in my opinion. But so this is where it all begins to get interesting for me. And it's actually funny because I had all those people calling me a Nazi or whatever for saying that I thought the Samuel L. Jackson thing as a potential troll or slight at Trump. But I actually don't think that's the case anymore at all. I don't think Kendrick or Samuel L. Jackson give a shit about that aspect of it one bit. And also, you got to realize these people are multi-millionaires, 100 millionaires. They're not they're really not that worried about slighting people at the end of the day, all full time. But so Samuel L. Jackson appears as Uncle Sam, right? Sets this thematic tone that underscores the performance, the commentary on American identity and systemic issues, and et cetera, et cetera. And I thought that was really cool. I actually really liked that. And I thought Samuel L. Jackson did a good job of it. I thought he looked good on camera, for that little role, whatever you want to call that. I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. And I also thought it was hilarious. People are arguing on X, in social media in general, yo, Uncle Sam's supposed to be white. It's dude, Uncle Sam is a character. People have lost their fucking minds out here, yo. But so this is where it really gets insane to me. And I don't know, I had heard all the whisperings about these theories, and I kind of just took it as just a general broad conspiracy theory. And I just, at these years in my life, I don't know, 6 years ago, whenever this happened, hold on, let me double check so I'm not just spewing random dates. So this was 2018, summer 2018. XXXTentacion passed away. Was killed when he was shot near a motorcycle dealership in Deerfield Beach, Florida. The attackers fled the scene in an SUV after stealing his Louis Vuitton bag containing $50,000 in cash. 4 suspects were arrested and charged with first degree, among other charges. So this is going to be a little bit all over the place, but bear with me. So one of the most debated aspects of Lamar's performance centers around the song Peekaboo and its alleged connections to the late rapper XXXTentacion and fellow artist Drake. The mysterious sample. The song Peekaboo begins with a sample that states, "Give me a helping hand to your fellow man, oh my." This line resonates with XXXTentacion's effort to establish the Helping Hand Foundation with his mother, aiming to support various charitable causes. So Kendrick also publicly had admiration for that. I think it was an album, XXXTentacion's album 17, and this is kind of like a famously referred to like tweet of Kendrick's for whatever reason, where Kendrick like really publicly praised him upon its release, showcasing his appreciation for the late rapper's work. And I'm not sitting here saying XXXTentacion was like, the greatest person in the world. I understand he had like his own issues, but it's also like what I see here is Kendrick Lamar saw him as someone who was trying to better himself and like uplift himself in his community and like work to better himself and all that kind of stuff. And then you have the Drake angle arise. So speculation arises from the belief that Peekaboo, Kendrick's song, serves as a subtle jab at Drake. It most definitely is, referencing past tensions between Drake and XXXTentacion. Notably, during the halftime show, Samuel L. Jackson in his Uncle Sam persona declared, "Scorekeeper, deduct one life," a statement that coincided with Lamar's performance of Peekaboo. Kendrick was also inside of an X while he performed the song Peekaboo, because the whole stage design was based off of a PlayStation controller, right? And this was confirmed by like Sony or by I don't even remember who, somebody major confirmed that the stage design was somewhat based off of a PlayStation controller. So during the song Peekaboo, which has this Helping Hand sample, which relates to XXXTentacion's Helping Hand foundation or whatever that was supposed to be referred to as, you have Kendrick standing in the middle of an X performing this Peekaboo song with all of these ties in it to all this stuff. And then add another layer of it, to add another layer to the intrigue, one of XXXTentacion's alleged killers mentioned Drake in an appeal brief, further fueling rumors of Drake's potential involvement in the rapper's untimely passing. And this is all speculation. I'm not saying I know facts about any of this, but I'm intrigued. So you also need to remember the the controller the stage design being based off a PlayStation controller. This whole legal battle that Kendrick's involved in with Drake involves Sony to some degree. And let me just double check something on that. So yeah, per Billboard Canada in 2024, Drake's OVO Sound label entered into a partnership with Sony Music's Santa Ana label group. So in a way, Sony Music does become Drake's record label. In last year, when Kendrick Lamar released Not Like Us, Drake filed the lawsuit against Kendrick's record label, Universal Music Group. And so I'm going to step away from that for 1 second, but we'll get right back into that. So, and Kendrick does the halftime show. He performs the Euphoria diss track. He performs Not Like Us. He says Drake's name on live television. I don't think he said the word pedophile, but he insinuated it. And he had the PG Lang A chain on, which I think was definitely leaning into the A minor lyric to just further symbolize it. And yeah, obviously everybody's been obsessing over this and dissecting this for like what feels like a freaking week now already. But it was definitely phenomenal in my opinion. Even just off top, just going back to like the beginning of the performance, and it started off with like the like violin kind of instrumental playing, and he's just a cappella basically kind of rapping on the car with just like a spotlight. And then it got like hardcore and like 80 people jumped out of the car, and like the camera work during Peekaboo. I thought the whole thing was phenomenal. But so let's get back into the whole X theory. So Drake's God's Plan music video and song and its connection to XXXTentacion has been widely debated, with many believing it was a subtle form of trolling. And this is how it ties into a larger conspiracy. The God's Plan music video and the Miami connection. The music video for God's Plan was released in February 2018, featured Drake handing out money and donations to people in Miami, I believe at the University of Miami, specifically. XXXTentacion was from South Florida, and before his death, he had frequently spoken about giving back to his community. as you could see from that Helping Hand Foundation thing. He also started the Helping Hand Foundation with his mother, which aimed to support underprivileged communities. The title God's Plan itself could be interpreted as a mockery of X's belief in fate, especially since X often talked about destiny and divine justice. XXXTentacion's reaction to Drake's flow theft. Back in 2017, before God's Plan even came out, X accused Drake of stealing his flow from the song Look at Me, that was like his biggest hit, for the track KMT off of More Life. X publicly called out Drake, saying, "If anyone tries to tell you Drake didn't steal my flow, just listen to the cadences." Drake initially denied knowing who XXXTentacion was, which infuriated X even more. The beef escalated, with X repeatedly dissing Drake in interviews on camera and on social media. So, and then some people even think the Drake line in God's Plan, "I only love my bed and my mama, I'm sorry," is like some sort of coded message at X, like mocking his faith and like life philosophy of like caring about all this shit. And Drake's like, yeah, like I'm just about mine, like I don't give a fuck about you. And so as I mentioned, we said during Kendrick's Super Bowl halftime show, he performed Peekaboo while standing inside of a giant X formation, part of the controller on the PlayStation thing, which many saw as a reference to XXXTentacion. Right before this moment, I'm reiterating, Samuel L. Jackson says scorekeeper deduct 1 life. What happened to XXX? The moment immediately preceded Kendrick Lamar's performance of Peekaboo, leading many to believe it was a veiled reference to XXXTentacion's killing, the XXXTentacion murder conspiracy, and Drake's alleged involvement. In 2023, one of XXXTentacion's killers mentioned Drake in an appeal brief, claiming there were text messages and connections between Drake and X's murder. While no solid proof has surfaced, some believe that X's repeated public callouts of Drake made him a target. The Peekaboo performance at the Super Bowl could be Kendrick subtly addressing this beef, especially given his recent shots at Drake in Not Like Us, Euphoria, Meet the Grams, etc. Kendrick's long been known to embed deep messages in performances. The Super Bowl show may have been his way of sending a cryptic message not just about social issues, but also about the music industry's dark side, and possibly even hinting at something that happened with XXXTentacion. And so let's take it a step further or deeper. Tons of people believe that Peekaboo is a continuation of Kendrick Lamar's song Silent Hill from Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers album because of the thematic, sonic, and lyrical connections between the two songs. And there's also another lyrical connection we're going to get to after this, especially in how they both reference paranoia, deception, and hidden threats. Here's why the theory holds weight. Sonic and structural similarities. Both songs feature haunting, minimalist beats, heavy on repetitive, hypnotic flows that create an eerie and suspenseful vibe. Silent Hill from Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers has a dark, whispery, creeping instrumental that matches the lurking, taunting energy of Peekaboo. Both tracks utilize short, repetitive hooks and a staccato, almost teasing vocal delivery. The lyrical themes: hiding, threats, and paranoia. Silent Hill features lyrics about navigating enemies, staying hidden, and keeping silent to avoid conflict or danger. Many of the lyrics suggest staying low, avoiding unnecessary attention, dodging narratives, distractions, and deeper conspiracies. Then Peekaboo, 2 years later, comes out and flips this idea on its head, and it's about actively calling someone out, exposing the deception, and playing a psychological game. The title itself refers to a game of revealing and hiding, mirroring the lurking danger themes in Silent Hill. Peekaboo, I see you. So Kendrick said this same Peekaboo thing in Silent Hill also. So the interpretation is like Silent Hill is him hiding, paranoid, suppressing the emotions, and then Peekaboo is coming out of hiding, exposing the deception, hunting them down. This implies Silent Hill represents a time when Kendrick or someone else was laying low, moving carefully, while Peekaboo marks the moment of confrontation, a shift from fearful avoidance to direct exposure. So many already believed that Silent Hill could have been subtly aimed at Drake, especially given Kendrick's reputation for subliminals. And then Peekaboo is like the next level, just like directly exposing someone who was once hiding in plain sight. So the title Peekaboo implies like these games like taunting, which fits how Kendrick's approaching this whole feud, mocking and playing with Drake psychologically. So like if Silent Hill is about lurking in the shadows and staying quiet about some crazy shit, then Peekaboo's about finally revealing secrets and making hidden enemies visible. Silent Hill and Peekaboo are like the unmasking. The transition from Silent Hill, which is hiding, paranoia, silence, to Peekaboo, which is exposure, taunting, and confrontation, is like a thematic progression. Kendrick could be suggesting that someone who was once untouchable is now in the open, vulnerable, being watched and attacked. This fits with the ongoing Kendrick vs. Drake beef and can connect to the XXX like story, and is a way that Kendrick could be hinting that there's a lot more to that story that you should be paying attention to. So, like, questions to literally ask yourself about that performance. Is Kendrick subtly revealing something about XXXTentacion's passing? Why does Peekaboo sound playful yet menacing? Who's being taunted? Who do you think? Does Kendrick believe Drake is hiding something and is now being exposed? Like, truthfully, fully, on a higher, further level than we even thought? And why is he standing in the middle of an X while he performs Peekaboo? This guy doesn't do things by accident at all. And so on top of all, so Kendrick does his performance or whatever, and like, you gotta just imagine like what Drake is even. I'm like, I know these guys are filthy rich, but still, man, your persona and stuff haunts, like, this shit will haunt you. Like, this is like some haunting, like, crazy shit, like, to have like deployed amongst your life. I like literally can't imagine. Like, and so Drake's on his Finsta Instagram account, his like alternative one, whatever you want to call that. It's like plot twist with like 1,000 T's. And he's sharing all these posts that are sparking all this public speculation. He shares a photo. So Serena Williams is at the freaking Super Bowl crip walking to freaking, I think, Not Like Us. And like, Drake and Serena had like some whole thing going on years ago. I don't remember exactly how long. It really doesn't even matter. But Drake and Serena had like some sort of on again, off again relationship fling thing at some point when Drake was like bubbling up as a superstar in Hollywood kind of thing. And then he like went on to just like shit on her for years in his lyrics, like subliminally for no reason, it seemed like. And then, so Drake posts a throwback photo featuring himself with Jill Smoller, Serena Williams' longtime agent. This image was taken at Wimbledon in 2015, and he reposted on his Finsta account shortly after Serena Williams' appearance during Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show. And then another post, I think one day later, showcases Sophia Richie Grange, daughter-in-law of Universal Music Group CEO Lucian Grange. In the photo, Sophia is wearing an OVO shirt aligning with Drake's brand. This post raises eyebrows, especially considering Drake's ongoing legal dispute with UMG. And I'm not even sure if that was actually a real shirt she's wearing in that photo, or if that was AI. I really didn't even look at it that close. When I glanced at it, it kind of looked like it might have been doctored to have her wearing that. I don't know, though. I really don't know. Drake also shared various other images and content on his Finsta account, including a video of Joe Budden, which led to a public exchange between the two. And then Joe Budden, I think, went on social media today and was like, yo, go put on your gay boots and get the fuck out of here, dude. Hold up. Let me find what Joe Budden actually said. That shit had me rolling, yo. Hold up. Let me pull that up. Hold up, yo. Where's the clip of this? Come on.
Hey, Drake, don't shoot at me now, you ice cold. I'm not doing it back and forth with a corpse. I'm not doing. I wanted to do it when you was lit. It was fun. Don't go get shot all through the year and then pop up like Bernie at Weekend at Bernie's wanting to shoot at me now. No, nigga. Go spin. Spin the fucking block. This fucking nigga. Are you crazy? I'll save it. But I just seen that shit. Is he crazy? Nigga.
You know it's Paw Day.
Been 99 niggas done jumped on your ass. You out smoking hookah in turquoise boots. Don't post me.
Dead ass, yo. You out here smoking hookah for 8 months, getting shredded by a dude from the freaking slums, and you're wearing like Wolverine fucking fuckboy boots, and you're attacking podcasters. Yo, fuck yourself, Drake. Get in the goddamn booth and shut the fuck up with these posts of fucking random 80-year-old Serena Williams agents. You're a bitch, dog. The fuck? Yo, don't be coming at me like X either, dog. For real. So I thought that Joe Budden clip was funny, man. That had me rolling when I randomly saw that earlier. And so like the key elements of the stage design, like we went over how it was basically a PlayStation controller theme. The stage was designed to resemble a PlayStation controller with elements like the directional pad and buttons integrated into the set. There was during the performance, a game over message appeared on the screen at the end, adding a layer of symbolism. Could be interpreted as a metaphor for overcoming challenges or signaling the end of a particular phase. The show began with a start here prompt, guiding the audience into the narrative of Kendrick's journey. And there was, which I mentioned already, there was the whole 40 acres and a mule reference. And there was also like a bunch of other little references that he added in there that were cool too. Like he said, like, tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence, and like just trying to refer to like Drake buying bots and rigging the social media stuff and like manufacturing this hype train that was never based in artistic element and etc. So these elements combined to create a performance that was both visually striking and rich in symbolism, reflecting Kendrick Lamar's artistic vision and commentary. And so then you go even further back. In 2017, there's this post that XXXTentacion makes on his Instagram story and literally says, quote, "If anyone tries to take me out, it's at Champagne Poppy," and tags Drake's Instagram account. That's Drake's Instagram account name to this day, I believe. And so fans and conspiracy theorists point to this post as a potential indicator of some sort of premonition or foreshadowing of X's passing. Given the accusation from X that Drake had copied his style in their tense relationship, the theory suggests X may have been referring to Drake, implying that if anything were to happen to him, Drake would be responsible. Possible retaliation. Some theories even claim that Drake may have had a hand in X's passing, though these are unsubstantiated and largely based on speculation. The post has also been viewed by some as a prophetic warning or a cryptic message from X foretelling the events of his passing. After X was killed in a robbery in 2018, the post gained more attention, with people pondering if X had sensed something was coming. This led to various conspiracies, including the belief that X's death was a result of his friction with other powerful figures in the music industry, such as Drake. Again, this is speculation. I'm not saying that any of this is fact, because I'm not a fucking professional investigator. The idea that X's passing was somehow connected to Drake was further fueled by several public incidents. Drake's involvement in public disputes. Drake had a history of engaging in public feuds with other artists, so some believe that the tensions with X could have escalated into something more sinister. Drake's subtle references. Drake made subtle references to X after his passing. For instance, in the song No Friends in the Industry from the album Certified Lover Boy, Drake appears to reference X, and some fans took this as a sign of Drake acknowledging the tension between them. After X's passing, his fans pointed to the Instagram post as one of the many eerie moments that seemed to align with his untimely death. The post became a focal point for conspiracy theorists who believed that the entertainment industry's dark forces were involved. Some fans continued to defend Drake, asserting that the rivalry between him and X was exaggerated, while others still see the connection between Drake and X's posts as suspicious. Drake has largely avoided directly addressing the accusations or the post from X, and any interaction between the two after X's passing was minimal. His silence and speculative nature of the theories have only contributed to the mystery surrounding the relationship between him and X. Okay, so now let's dive a little further. So X passes on, what date was it? X passes away on June 18th, 2018, in a robbery outside a motorcycle dealership in Deerfield Beach, Florida. So he passes away June 2018, and then Drake names his tour just like a few months later. Let me actually get the exact date on that. And then so March 10th, 2019, Drake begins his Assassination Vacation Tour, which I didn't even remember ever happening. I don't even recall that being a tour name. And maybe I was just busy with my own shit and I wasn't giving enough credence to these alternative, theories and etc. And I was just sucked into the mainstream. I don't know. But the tour name raised significant controversy due to its timing and name, especially given the circumstances surrounding X's tragic passing. So the tour was announced and began shortly after X was killed during the robbery at a motorcycle dealership in June 2018. The name Assassination Vacation felt insensitive to many fans given the context of the recent loss of X, who had been publicly feuding with Drake. The name of the tour was seen by some as a provocative choice, leading to the speculation it could be related to X's death or an allusion to the tensions between Drake and X. And so I could see that being very sinister, and I could also see it being just market kind of being a capitalist through no matter the cost, morally or anything. But it definitely is intriguing to me. And so given the theories linking Drake to X's passing, which were based on, speculation and accusations from X before his passing, the tour name fueled even more rumors. The name was interpreted by some as a subliminal message, with people suggesting that Drake might have been referencing the passing of X. However, this theory is not completely founded, and no factual evidence supports that Drake was involved at this current time. Drake's intent. Drake's team supposedly did not directly explain the meaning behind the tour's name, leaving fans to speculate. Some believed it was just a play on words, but it wasn't, because the thing is, it goes even further. Like, the artwork for Drake's Assassination Vacation tour featured an image with palm trees in the crosshairs, which added further fuel to the controversy surrounding the tour. While the palm tree imagery is common in many beach-themed or tropical references, the crosshair motif was particularly striking and led to much speculation, especially given the timing and nature of the tour's name and X's passing. The crosshair symbol is widely associated with targeting and assassination, a direct link to the term assassination in the tour's name. Given that XXXTentacion was murdered shortly before the tour was announced, the imagery of crosshairs placed on the palm trees, a typically peaceful, serene image, seemed starkly out of place, and to many, it appeared as a veiled reference to violence or targeting. The combination of assassination and crosshairs juxtaposed with palm trees, often associated with paradise, tranquility, and a laid-back lifestyle, creates an unsettling contrast. This led many fans and critics interpreting the cover as a provocative commentary on death or violence, especially in the wake of X's passing. Given that XXXTentacion's killing occurred just months earlier, the artwork's use of crosshairs on palm trees seemed to be an eerie coincidence or, to some, a deliberate reference to the violent death that had shocked the music world. Some fans speculated that the imagery alluded to X's tragic passing, with the palm trees possibly referencing X, as Florida, where X was from, is symbolized by palm trees. The idea of putting a crosshair over palm trees was seen as either a veiled threat or a dark metaphor about targeting X, reinforcing the conspiracies that Drake may have had some involvement in X's passing. Another possibility, which I mentioned, edgy and provocative capitalistic marketing. On the other hand, it's possible that Drake and his team were simply using the crosshairs as provocative design choice without any deeper connection to X's passing. And I personally don't think that that's the case. I don't find Drake very edgy. I don't think he's I don't know. This one really intrigues me. I wasn't aware of this at all, to be honest. I had no idea this tour name ever happened, and if I was aware of this theory, I would have never supported Drake at all, to be honest. Ever. And it's funny, when I look back on my fandom or whatever period for Drake, it almost feels manufactured. That music is so meaningless, I feel like. And I'm not trying to hate, I'm just natural flow of thought. So as with many elements in the Drake-X relationship, fans quickly jumped to conclusions. Given the cryptic nature of Drake's feud with X, as well as the subtle references in Drake's music and behavior, the crosshairs and palm trees led many to believe the cover art was an intentional message which was connected to the theme of violence, targeting, or death in the wake of X's murder. Some theorists also linked the crosshairs to the notion of Drake taking out his competition, which in this case could have been X, given the tension between them. The timing of the tour name and artwork further enhanced his perception. Speculation again, I'm not saying anything fact. The crosshair imagery on the artwork for Drake's Assassination Vacation tour is indeed a significant part of the controversy surrounding the tour. While it can be interpreted as just a provocative marketing choice, it's undeniably added to the conspiracy theories surrounding Drake and X's relationship and the timing of X's passing. Whether intentional or not, the artwork combined with the tour's name played into the wider narrative of X's passing, leading fans to speculate on the deeper meaning behind it. As with many elements of Drake's career, the exact intentions remain unclear, but the symbolism left a lasting impression, further fueling speculation and intrigue. So, I'm going to go deeper into the Peekaboo lyrics in 1 second. I need a sip of water. Hold up. Out of my Versace K-cup. King Kendrick, King Kevin. Let's get it. But, so the mention of specific Peekaboo lyrics. So, let's go back to Peekaboo real quick. Kendrick says, Peekaboo, 80-point is like a Kobe game, right? So this is another layer of symbolism that can have multiple interpretations, especially when you consider the connection to Drake. The 80-point game. Kendrick is referencing Kobe Bryant's legendary 81-point game against the Toronto Raptors in January 2006. Toronto Raptors. Where's Drake from? Drake is from Toronto, Canada. This game is widely regarded as one of the most iconic moments in basketball, showcasing Kobe's scoring prowess. Drake and the Raptors. Drake has long been associated with the Toronto Raptors as their global ambassador. He's frequently seen courtside at the Raptors game and has been a vocal supporter of the team. The Raptors connection becomes significant here because Kendrick's mention of an 80-point game indirectly links the symbolism to Drake, who represents the very team Kobe scored his 81 points against. Symbolic tension. The line can be seen as a subtle jab or a reference to competition between Kendrick and Drake. Given their long-standing tension and rivalry, which became more pronounced in the public eye, especially around the time of the Pusha T beef and subsequent issues, the Kobe 81-point game, which happened against Drake's Raptors, could be Kendrick's way of acknowledging both the legend of Kobe and the competitive aspect tied to the Raptors and Drake's affiliation with them. Psychological play. By bringing up the 81-point game against the Raptors, Kendrick could be invoking the idea of dominance and competition in his own career, positioning himself as Kobe, scoring big and outperforming. The reference is subtle, but also aligns with Kendrick's history of referencing sports to illustrate the themes of winning, dominance, and overcoming challenges, while also possibly pointing out that Drake's Raptors were the ones on the receiving end of Kobe's record-breaking feat. The reference to Kobe's 81-point game against the Toronto Raptors in Kendrick Lamar's Peekaboo has layers of meaning. It could symbolize Kendrick's own competitiveness, while also subtly calling out Drake's association with the Raptors, alluding to their tension and rivalry. This line works as a symbolic link between basketball culture, competition, and the larger narrative of Drake and Kendrick's relationship, giving listeners a deeper insight into their dynamic and making the line more pointed and meaningful. Okay, so now let's think about Not Like Us and Peekaboo. Both of these songs have an interesting intertwining point. So when looking at the lyrics and connections between these two songs, the phrases might initially seem like a simple catchphrase or part of the song's rhythm, but there could be deeper meanings, especially when you consider the overall themes and Kendrick's approach to storytelling. Possible interpretations here. So both of these songs have lines going, like for example, Peekaboo, I believe it's Peekaboo, has a line where he's like, hey, 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 that's my bitch. Hey, 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 that's my bitch. And then also in Not Like Us, there's a line towards the end of the song where he's like, hey, 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 run for your life. So it's almost like in Not Like Us, he was saying like, run for your life, stop fucking with me or I'm going to destroy you. And then in Peekaboo, he's like, hey, 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 that's my bitch. Like he's like got a chain on the dog. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, that's my bitch. This shit crazy. So the repeated use of hey, hey, hey in these tracks feels playful yet assertive, which could be a way for Kendrick to capture attention, build tension, or simply emphasize a key point. In Peekaboo, the phrase, hey, 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 that's my bitch, seems to combine playful and dominant energy, which could point to a more assertive or possessive stance, which Kendrick often plays into with his music, especially when talking about relationships, fame, or identity, or competitors. The repetitive hey creates a sense of urgency or excitement. It almost feels like a cue or call out, grabbing attention to highlight the following line. In both songs, the repetition emphasizes importance or dominance. As a call for recognition, Kendrick may be using these hey calls as a way to emphasize certain themes or ideas that he wants listeners to pick up on. The that's my bitch line in Peekaboo could be seen as a declaration of ownership or attachment, but it also may be a way of establishing dominance or control, whether over a situation, person, or specific narrative in his career. Kendrick repeatedly saying these hey motifs often fit with the beat structure, serving as a rhythmic element that adds to the musicality of the track. But within that rhythm, there's often a deeper significance, especially when combined with the lines that follow it. In Peekaboo, the phrase feels like a chorus, which adds to the song's catchiness and possibly gives the line a dual meaning. It's both an attention grabber and a way to elevate the importance of the following statement. connection between the two songs. The fact that Kendrick uses a similar cadence and repetition in both tracks could imply that he's using the same approach to delivery across different contexts. In Not Like Us, Kendrick is making a statement about his status and position relative to others, while in Peekaboo, the same cadence could serve to emphasize his confidence or dominance over a situation or person. The connection might be in how Kendrick consistently uses this rhythm to underline key ideas about control, individuality, whether it's about how he feels about a relationship, his career, or his place in hip-hop. The connection between Hey, 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 Hey in both Not Like Us and Peekaboo lies in Kendrick's use of repetition to emphasize importance, dominance, and personal identity. Whether it's marking his individuality or highlighting a moment of control in a relationship, the repeated heys serve as both rhythmic and symbolic tools. The vocal pattern creates a sense of urgency and attention, which could signify Kendrick's attempt to establish himself as in charge in both his personal and professional life. And that's basically all I've got to say about the Super Bowl thing for now. Like, I really liked the performance. I thought it was good. I don't really understand how people have been conditioned to want to see, like, Katy Perry and Rihanna at an NFL game. I don't get it at all. I thought that was, like, the darkest Super Bowl halftime show ever, and I thought it was badass. Thought it was phenomenally done, artistically done, very extremely deep, so deep that people can't even see past the surface at all. It's like unbelievable. And also, if you think, like, it's kind of crazy to me that people think Kendrick is like so worried about like Trump being at the Super Bowl. Like, I don't think he really cares, to be honest, all that much. Like, maybe he wanted to, make some type of little political statements, but I don't think that's like his entire ethos as an artist at all. And I think the reason he doesn't endorse candidates all the time outright is probably because he doesn't want to just ostracize half his fan base, potentially. You know what I mean? I think Kendrick might be the best rapper ever. Kendrick Lamar is the only rapper that has ever really, really made me question if I still think Eminem is the greatest rapper of all time. And yes, I think Eminem's the greatest rapper of all time. I've thought that most of my life over Tupac, Biggie, etc. I'm not downplaying their greatness and importance. Just my personal opinion and experience with that music. But Kendrick's running for that. Kendrick might get that GOAT title by the end of his career, for real, man. Like I think Not Like Us might be one of the best diss records, if not the best diss record ever recorded in rap music. I think it might be better than like Hit 'Em Up by Tupac, dude. I think it might be better than Ether by Nas. I think Euphoria might be better than and Meet the Gram. I think this whole package of disses that Kendrick gave us might be like the best rap beef anyone in history might ever experience, yo. Like, I'm not even playing. Like, this shit is incredible. This guy is a mastermind genius. I've always loved him. Like I showed you in the post. If you listen, I don't know who's gonna listen this far, but all those people attacking me, saying all this stupid stuff to me just because I was willing to, bare my soul basically and tell them like who I am and what I enjoy and that I supported Kendrick's performance. They're like, "Oh my God, you're a Nazi." It's like, dude, give it a rest. No, I'm not. And I've been going to his concerts for longer than you were probably even like alive, literally, and writing about him, doing podcasts about him. My most viewed podcast is my Kendrick Lamar GNX review, literally. And hopefully this will break that record somehow. But yeah, so do yourself some research into that Peekaboo, XXXTentacion, Helping Hand Foundation, and Silent Hill song crazy deep dive connection, because if this didn't give you enough of it, there's a ton more content about it out there on YouTube. And I actually want to shout out a YouTuber who I got some of this information from. Hold on, let me find my saved videos right quick. So Knox Hill, Knox Hill on YouTube. He's already got mad subscribers, so he doesn't need my fucking, advert here. But he had a good deep dive on it that gave me some information that I wasn't totally privy to, and I thought it was pretty fascinating. And I mean, he got that from someone else too. But I don't know. I feel like not everybody is privy to this, and I feel like people should be kind of aware of this and look into it a little bit because it's pretty fascinating. And like Kendrick says, rabbit hole is still deep. I can go further, I promise. There's always more, and it's still coming. I also wanted to say real quick, this is unrelated to Kendrick Lamar in any capacity, but this whole thing going on with Ye like posting this like insane stuff on X and whatever, like I really don't think a lot of that is him. I really feel like a lot of this stuff is just like being an attention whore, one. And two, like you got to remember all the time and like remind yourself like all these celebrities, influencers, not all the influencers, but like all these celebrities, like politicians, like they've just networked and astroturfed like all these, movements, and they have all these shills running around like posting them everywhere. It's just all like divide and conquer tactics, and they're using trigger words and everything. Like all those people attacking me because I enjoyed Kendrick's show just because I said Trump. It's like that's like pure like brainwash. Like I'm not Trump. Like what is anyone's mission doing that? Like, are you gonna go find every person on earth? That you're gonna go hunt down every 70 million Trump support? It's just so stupid. It's like I don't even know where people's head are at with this, are at with that, and I'm not wasting another millisecond thinking about it because it's like the dumbest thing ever. And even that could be like globally paid networks of just shit accounts just driving people crazy 24/7 to rob you of time, rob you of potential, stop you from going and doing a podcast and exposing something like this. Just all sorts of crazy psychological manipulation. So yeah, just remember, celebrities are using firms to do a lot of their social media stuff, probably like 90% of the time. Unless they're like in front of the camera talking, like, it's probably, and even then it's still like planned out, like with agendas in mind every time, basically. Like I was even reading about this thing about how Kanye's whole Sunday service thing he was doing a couple years ago was like a tax evasion scheme that like Kris Jenner was supposedly helping him with. And I don't know if that's like a fact, but it seems pretty legit. But I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Hope y'all enjoyed this little deep dive into the Kendrick halftime show, Peekaboo specifically theory, and rabbit hole is still deep. Could go further, I promise. Have a good day, y'all.